How to call someone in spoken Korean at a restaurant or work, etc. We do not use he, she, or they in spoken language because they do not sound natural. Instead of saying he, she, or they, we call their names or social titles. And instead of saying they, we use plural words such as those people, employees, or my friends. When addressing people older than you, strangers you meet for the first time, or colleagues at work, you should add honorifics such as 님 or she after their names or social titles. Let's learn how to call someone appropriately, depending on the place and occasion. When calling the owner, president, or boss of a company, restaurant, or store.
사장님, 사장님.
When calling the boss's wife.
사모님, 사모님.
When calling the CEO of a company.
대표님, 대표님.
When calling the team leader.
팀장님, 팀장님.
When calling the assistant manager.
대리님, 대리님.
When calling the store manager.
점장님,
Or.
매니저님.
When calling a professor.
교수님, 교수님.
When calling the college teaching assistant.
조교님, 조교님.
When calling a school teacher.
선생님, 선생님.
When calling a college senior or senior at work.
선배님,
Or with name.
전국 선배.
When calling a college junior or a company junior.
후배님, 지수 후배.
When calling a colleague of the same or lower rank.
수지님, 수지씨.
When calling a coworker who uses an English name.
제니퍼, 제니퍼님.
Or.
제니퍼씨.
When you call the chef.
셰프님, 셰프님.
Or, in Korean.
주방장님, 주방장님.
When calling a firefighter.
소방관님, 소방관님.
When calling a police officer.
경찰관님, 경찰관님.
When calling the bus driver or taxi driver.
기사님, 기사님.
When calling students.
학생들, 학생들.
When calling employees.
직원들, 직원들.
When calling a doctor.
의사 선생님,
Or.
선생님.
When calling a nurse.
간호사님, 간호사님.
When calling a server at a restaurant or a clerk at a store.
저기요, 저기요.
Meaning, hey there, in friendly way instead of saying, excuse me, or,
여기요, 여기요.
meaning hey, here or please, take a look here in a friendly way. If the waitress or female server at a restaurant is as old as your mother or aunt, you can call her
이모,
or
이모님.
with honorifics, 님. Imo means aunt in English. However, if they are not as old as your mother, calling them imo can be offensive because you make them feel too old than they are. Here are 2 words you should avoid using to call a female server. Calling a middle-aged female server
아줌마,
can be rude because the word is often used to derogate older women. Also, calling a young female server
아가씨,
can be very offensive. In the past,
아가씨.
was traditionally used as a respectful term for the daughter of a person of high status. However, in modern Korean society, it is mainly used with a negative meaning to refer to bar workers or servicewomen. So, calling a young female server
아가씨,
can cause discomfort as it implies social prejudice and discrimination. When addressing strangers, it is best to use job-related titles that can be used by both men and women, regardless of gender. In a restaurant, regardless of the employee's position or gender, it is best to call them
사장님, 저기요, or 여기요.
When calling a stranger on the street to ask something, you can call her or him
저기요.
instead of saying excuse me. Also, when asking a stranger something, so as not to cause discomfort by using titles that are as gender neutral as possible, you can call them
선생님,
meaning sir. Even if they are not family, you can call your friends older than you in the following ways to be friendly. When you are a female and call your female friends older than you can call them
언니,
When you are a female and call your male friends or boyfriend older than you can call them.
오빠,
When you are a male and call your female friends older than you can call them.
누나,
When you are a male and call your male friends older than you can call them.
형,
When calling close friends and family members of the same age or younger, kids or pets, you call them by their names. When calling a name, if the last syllable of the name has a final consonant,
받침,
add
아,
to the name so you can call.
지은아,
And if there is no,
받침,
add
야,
to the name so you can call.
수지야,
To the pet.
해피야,
Also, when referring to a third person who is the same age or younger than you can say
얘,
short for,
이 아이,
meaning this guy,
쟤,
short for,
저 아이,
meaning that guy,
걔,
short for,
그 아이,
meaning he or she. However, you cannot say
얘, 쟤,
or
걔,
for older people, people you meet for the first time, or at work. Now that you've learned how to address people according to the situation and location, try practicing it in your daily life. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and hit the like.